Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Talkin' 215. I am your co-host, Sean Zebley, and through my computer screen about 963 miles away, I am accompanied by my fellow co-host, Coach Joey. Coach, what's up, man?
Sean, what's up, man? Just got done watching The Dark Knight. Feeling really good. Hoping that we get maybe a cast of characters on the show here with us today. Who knows?
Fantastic. And to my right, we have the commissioner, Harvey Dent.
Say it.
Finally, Jake has a face for radio, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. That's right. I've always been told I have a face for radio. Podcasting, we do a little stuff with video. So I'm able to get the ugly mug out there a little bit. And just when I thought I couldn't get any uglier, boop, wake up with a little touch of the bells. The old Bells Palsy. Also, screw out whoever named it Bells Palsy, as B's, P's, F's, and V's are very difficult to pronounce with only half of your face working. So yeah, Bells Palsy.
Yeah, so Jake will be talking literally out of the side of his mouth today.
And I apologize every time I laugh if I look like a 1940s action star, like old, what would you say, like old gangster? Yeah, see? Yeah. Looks like between Sean Connery and a pirate.
Guys, if you're just listening to this on Spotify, on Apple iTunes, what have you, you are really missing out. You need to tune in on YouTube, on wherever we are.
Yeah, you need to see the video of this because
man, he is ugly.
Don't let your kids see it. It will bring nightmares. But also like, subscribe, comment, set on the notifications if you support people with disabilities.
Wherever you are not listening right now, you need to hop on board somewhere else. Like, subscribe, comment, hop on board. We are getting all of the sympathy followers we can over the next couple months, guys.
Oh yeah,
our host is handicapped.
Yes, he is. And Doc says it could be anywhere from 1 month being the earliest that they typically see full recovery to like 8 or 9 months. So we'll just see. Typically between 2 to 4 weeks, you start to see very gradual improvements.
Let's hope for a Bryce Harper-esque 17-day full recovery.
That sounds like an Andrew Painter recovery timeline.
Yeah, 1 to 9 months.
Could be tomorrow, could be next year.
Yeah, if Jake just disappears after a week or two and we never ever talk about him again.
Well, I'm gonna tweet. I'm gonna tweet to Jared Carabas just saying screw off randomly and then never tweet again.
Well, hey guys, that's an interesting poll we could run. Who
will be better? Who will be back first? Jake's ugly smile or Andrew Painter on the mound? We're doing it. We're putting it up right after this episode with a great picture.
Who will be better first?
Great picture.
Jake, my money's on you.
Unfortunately, look, I would love for him to be back before I am. I would stay like this for a year if it meant Andrew Painter was pitching next week.
I don't feel it. But hey, listen, we've had a good couple of weeks of Phillies baseball.
The old Aaron Rowan knows.
Yeah. Yeah, coach. Or I was telling Jake he had the Aaron Rowan nose.
Oh my God, the slamming into the wall
is just smashed. Anytime he talks, it just does a 90-degree right.
Why am I completely blanking on the Flyers winger that took 2 slap shots to the face in the same year, and his nose starts at his left lip and ends at his right eyebrow? Oh my gosh, why? He was the assistant coach for years. He was one of my favorite players.
Was Brindamore?
No, bald guy. He was the assistant coach for a long time. I don't know why. I can't remember. I'll look it up. But anyway, carry on.
Phillies winners of 13 of the last 15. We're playing some pretty good ball out there.
Yeah.
Pitching is holding on.
Sean, I saw a tweet that you had, and I followed up on it. Just like last year, when we won 13 out of 15, the Braves won 15 out of 16. That same exact span. There's
nothing like a Phillies hot streak to remind you that the Braves are just fucking insane. Like their slugging percentage is a full 80 points higher than anybody else's over that same time span. They're slugging 555 cumulatively as a team. It's just totally nuts. Maybe that's not their slugging percentage, but they're just leaps and bounds better than any other team is playing. And it's not just June. It's not June Schwarber. It's not June Trey. It's the whole damn team is just
the whole
playing
team, as
out.
Kelsey says.
Yeah.
It's
And
the whole damn team.
It is.
Our pitching staff, our starting pitching staff, leads Major League Baseball in the month of June in damn near every category: WHIP, ERA, innings pitched, strikeouts, opponent batting average, opponent slugging percentage, hitting with runners in scoring position on defensive side. Our starting pitching has been unbelievable in June. And you know what? It was interesting because we talked on this pod about how quick of a leash Taijuan Walker got. But then Rob left him in all the way to 8 innings the other day, and he was dominant again. He showed that, hey, look, I was pissed off last time. You only let me pitch 5. Let me keep going until I slow down. And he looked great. He looks like he's found something. I know they talked about how they found something with Trey, how his stance is a little bit different, and that started his hot streak. They might have found something with Walker, too, that they tweaked. I think he's eliminated one pitch and throwing one pitch more and more that's working, kind of like Alvarado does. But whatever it is, it's working. I hope they keep it up.
Yeah, they found the strike zone. It's what they found. I mean, this guy was just trying so hard to be so cute. I mean, that's obviously a joke. Like, I do think they found something in his mechanics that has allowed him to be able to throw his splitter a lot more effectively. I mean, that splitter is nasty right now. He's throwing it at like 35% of the time, and it is just almost unhittable. Rarely does it hang up there like when Hector Neris seemed to always kind of hang his splitter. In clutch moments. This guy's been really, and the funny thing is, even when he's been struggling, we have the most wins with Taijuan Walker on the mound. I don't know. I mean, obviously, a lot of times when he struggles, we must be having very good offensive outings. But yeah, he leads all other starters, but I think at least 2 wins is the next closest, and that's Zach Wheeler. And then obviously Ranger in his limited time has the highest win percentage. I believe he's 5-2 in his 7 starts. But it's so great to see. And it's funny that it came right after Sean pointing out that he hadn't gone past like 85 pitches. And even when he was dealing, like they just left, they pulled him at 85. You always kind of thought, like, was there something bothering him? Because he always you'd see the camera in the dugout, he'd be rubbing his arm or just making kind of like a grimace between pitches. And so he always had that thought of like, is there a Phantom IL stint coming up, like 10 days or something? But he kept making his starts. And now it's great to see him stretching it out, going 8 innings, 100 pitches, pitching effectively. Also, Flyers assistant coach was Ian LaPerriere. Look up his nose, starts from his left lip, ends at his right eyebrow. He took two slap shots off the face, came back in both games with 90 stitches the one time and like 7 lost teeth.
90.
Yeah. And then he lost like 7 teeth the next time, and he came back and finished both games. I love when Charles Barkley said after a player in the playoffs this year in hockey caught a skate blade to the face. Charles Barkley said if a basketball player had to get 10 stitches after a game, he would retire. And this guy got like 57 stitches and came back the next period. Anyway, Taijuan Walker, love to see it. And real quick on pitching, I mean, you can talk about more about Walker if you need to and all. But after that, I want us to touch on Matt Strom and how he is almost unusable in like a high leverage situation.
Guaranteed to get a dinger hit off of him.
Leadoff dinger. Like the first batter, gone.
His last 4 appearances, he's given up a home run.
Yeah. And the last 2 have been the first batter he faced. The first batter he played.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Taijuan hitting
all over.
I'm excited to see him start hitting the strike zone in some of these non-four-seam pitches because he really struggled. It seemed like, and even I just last time we talked about him, even I said, listen, he's pitching well, but it doesn't look like he doesn't really pass the eye challenge. There's not a ton of movement. He seems to really struggle hitting the strike zone, and even in the case of his slider, it looks like it's going to be a strike for a bit longer than it had been his first couple starts. And you're right, I didn't give the guy any leash. I thought he was overpriced, overpaid. He shouldn't have been thrown into the 3rd starting pitching spot. And that's
not his fault, though.
No, that has nothing to do with him. And again, he's not going to turn down that money, right?
Yeah.
I think he looks a little goofy out there with the puffy hair and the high socks. He looks like he like should have been slinging in like the 70s or something, very 70s-esque.
No, and what you're touching on him finding the zone more, that makes his splitter and his slider that much better because they're like, man, he is dotting the corners. Like I can't sit here and I see it in 75% of the time. It looks like a strike. And at that point, the trigger's pulled. Like all the brain set the signal to the arms and the knee bones connected to the hip bone.
Yeah.
And he is just swinging on through and it's down in the dirt.
Right.
And it's, strike 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been a little bit worried about Strom with, he seems to get a little bit rattled when he doesn't get a strike call. And I think he's been squeezed a little bit in a couple games.
I mean, these umps for every team have been atrocious. And it's not even rough. It's like it's so inconsistent. We'll touch on that. But yeah, he's definitely like you're seeing the body language when he's not getting these calls.
But even when he's playing well, he's like kind of tweaky. He looks kind of like he talks to himself a lot during the day. He just looks like a kid that in class would like be bullied for like talking to himself and like twitching and like
Naruto running to the
definitely Naruto ran
to the lunchroom
hallways. Yeah. So
but what's been weird? He gives up that bomb, and then after it, he looks like Nolan Ryan.
He's been fine.
Yeah, he'll go an inning and 2/3 after the home run and be like, "Oh, I'm good."
Yeah, but he just had to get.
Would you say his power reached 9,000 after that one?
I would say it's over 9,000.
Over 9,000. Kami.
And you know who I was wrong about, guys? Like when we made offseason,
I know who I was wrong about.
I was like, that's nobody. He's old. He'll be like a middle reliever or something like that. He's another good right-handed arm. Craig Kimbrell has been insanely dominant.
Yeah.
Dominant. And he's been the closer. He's Alvarado, Sir Anthony's been a little
careful. Alvarado, Junior Marte would like to talk to you.
Junior Marte stepped up when
he didn't.
Like,
nasty performance.
Nobody thought in a one-run game in the bottom of the ninth, you're sending in Junior Marte, and you're like,
that's Sean's boy. That's Sean's boy.
I can't say it's been my boy. No, that was a bit fabricated. I mean, when he's on. You're going out there going, okay, we're going to look and see. We're going to find out real quick,
Yeah. No, but like you said with Kimbrell, like early on, I mean, his first couple outings did not look good. But if you look back at his career, he seems to always have a really bad April and May. Like it seems to always be middle end of May he starts finding his stride. Yeah, but like him specifically, like he seems to always really struggle early in the season, finds his stride. Like, I mean, he's had some pretty good starts to a number of seasons. He's been in the league like 18 years now. But a pretty common trend of his is starting poorly in April and May. And man, has he found his stuff. And when he really rears back at almost 40 years old, he's touching 98 at times. And it is a frozen rope. Like, and so it is so hard for those hitters to hit their swing and way under it because they're expecting the sucker to drop, and it's like throwing a riser on it. It's really impressive. No,
I love watching it. Like, and weapon to use back there if Sir Anthony is on his A game, that's the other righty you have, and then you got Alvarado and Soto. So you got 2 lefties and 2 righties that could take up 4 innings when it comes crunch time. So Rob Thompson can do his lefty-righty thing, whatever he wants for the next 4 innings. So really what you're saying is if you have a 5th starter, hey, starter, get me 5 innings. And I got some studs on. Okay, get me 5 innings. Granted, you would think Nola, Wheeler, Ranger, those guys will get you 6, 6.5, 6 2/3, give or take. So it's such a luxury when everybody's clicking, everybody's healthy, and everybody's doing their job. On paper, this team is.
Coach, you broke up there for a second. On paper, this team is once again
the worst ever. No, I was saying this team is set up to win on paper when if people are healthy on their A game, right? Like we talked about coaching in a few podcasts back and how we don't know what the coaches do. Somebody got with Trey Turner, worked on his stance, and we've seen improvement. Somebody got with Taijuan Walker, changed up a little bit of his mechanics. We've seen improvement there. So you're looking at, okay, guys, I really wish as a fan you wouldn't take till June to start seeing what the problem is, adjusting. Even players that, take that 2-strike approach at the plate. You've seen Bryce and Stott just make contact. You've seen Castellanos lay off that outside breaking ball that killed him all last year.
It's almost a pitch it's almost to the point where you can't even comment about it anymore. He spits on it more than he does.
Occasionally, but every Major League Baseball player is going to chase occasionally. It's just you're seeing the coaching finally catch up to the players and everybody being like, oh, okay. Now, if we could just get the players on the field at the same time and all listening, I mean, shit, this team is set up to win. And I know, Jake, you're upset by me saying that, but
I mean, we'll find out tomorrow. And by the time you're listening to this, it'll probably be tonight. You know, when you're listening to this. But as long as Castellanos is off the toilet, I mean, we're going to go over our desired lineup shortly. Especially, I really want to hear everybody's thoughts on when Bryce Harper is going to be fielding again, which, I mean, you're seeing him really rip it. Some of these 60 foot, 70 foot throws. He's really starting to stretch out that arm. When he is out in the field, I already have written down exactly the players I want to see in what position I want to see him. I don't care about what order they're in, because at the end of the day, Rob, I really don't. But put your best players out on the team at the same time. That's all it comes down to. There's no reason, and I don't give a shit about lefty righty. When Jake Cave is still leading AAA in OPS with 1.29.
Yeah,
bring him up and send Josh Harrison down, because Josh Harrison isn't even playing the infield anymore. He's playing right field, and he is a liability out there.
Can I ask y'all something? Like,
please,
I want you to put yourself in Jake Cave's shoes for a second.
Oh my gosh!
Imagine you go back to your team hotel or your place, whatever it is you're going back to. You got the day off, and you put on the Phillies game because you think you may get called up at any time, and you're seeing Josh Harrison in right field just fall down, drop the ball, miss an angle, and then at the plate go 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Are you just thinking to yourself, what do I gotta do? Like, what do I gotta do?
You're grabbing the bat, you're spinning around to the other side of the plate and saying, look, I can still be better than Josh Harrison as a righty.
You go up to the plate, you put the bat on the ground, you put your head onto the bat, and you do 10 spins around the bat. Okay.
10 spinny bats.
10 rotations. Because, what the hell is Josh Harrison doing out there? He's literally misplaying balls, just half-assing it. He's a liability at the plate. He clearly, like you mentioned, he's not really playing in the infield anymore. He's out in the outfield. He's out in the corner, which Jake Cave can play.
He's a corner outfielder.
Exactly. That's his position. Like, there's nothing
we saw him early on when he was on the team. He made some good plays. He's a plus glove.
He was fine. He was not a liability.
And you have to also be sitting there, like you said, like, what more do I need to do?
There's only been so long where you should be the hottest hitter in AAA.
Yeah.
Like, that's not something that you should continue to be over time.
Yeah. The hottest hitter in AAA should be
a
like
major league ball player.
2 to 3 week stretch. And then you're called up. You're no longer the hottest hitter because you're no longer in AAA.
Right.
There is no reason for him to be down there. And I put me in the room with the person in Rob Thompson's ear that's saying, hey, we need more righties. I don't care about, we have too many lefties. We need more righties. Put me in the room with them, because it makes no sense. Bryson Stott has a higher average against lefties this season, and we just saw him, after him being red hot the night before, get benched because we had a lefty on the mound. And then you see constantly Brandon Marsh, who he'll start to show a little bit of signs of coming out of a slump, and he'll do it against a lefty, and then like a lefty reliever, and then a lefty starter's coming out the next day with a 7 ERA.
It feels lazy.
And he'll get the bench.
It just feels lazy. Like, we took some analytics before the beginning of the season, and we were just committed to them.
We're going to give it 4 months.
We printed them out. We put them on the board. Okay. That's where they'll stay. These are the rules. These are the commandments of the clubhouse, and they are not to change. Other than that, I have no idea.
Let's say, and this is way too early, but let's say we make the postseason. And we're facing the best lefties, best righties. We're facing the best. If I see Josh Harrison, if I see Edmundo Sosa, if I see any of these guys with a fully healthy team getting a start over Marsh, Stott, and I'll even say it now, breaking news, talking 2-5, I am happy to announce that I am a Christian Pache guy. Not a big Christian Pache guy. Not a big one. I'm a big Bohm guy. I'm a big Castellanos guy. I'm a Christian Pache guy.
I'm a Pache apologist.
Yes.
We all have to admit it. We all have to. That's why I said I'm happy to announce, because I would love for people to prove me wrong, and he has.
And before the podcast, that was exactly what I was trying to describe. I'm not a Pache guy, but I am almost relieved to see him in here now. I'm excited to see how he progresses throughout the rest of the season. I don't have his stats in front of me, but he's hitting 300.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's hitting 300. He is like you mentioned, he is a plus on defense. He is a plus outfielder.
He's a plus defender. He's
right.
Yeah.
Unreal.
He's currently batting 333.
333. 1 out of the 3 times he comes to the plate, just about
33 at bats. He has 11 hits.
Right.
Small sample size, but you keep riding that until it changes.
Right.
And with his ability out there in the outfield, it's way more valuable.
That should spell the end of Josh Harrison.
It should.
Not. I don't know what else we have to do.
Well, that was only because Castellanos had the bubble
true.
guts.
That's true. With a fully healthy
But
stomach.
we also can't assume that Rob Thompson would have started Castellanos.
Right.
Well, I think
he takes
that's the most confusing thing to me is, within the Jake Cave scenario is we talked about, and look, Brandon Marsh has been really, really bad this month with hitting lefties. Like he's been real bad, like borderline horrific. So I get that from time to time. But what I'm thinking about in the Jake Cave scenario is, look, I know he's a lefty too, and lefties don't really hit lefties well. Jake Cave doesn't have like a great history against him, but what lefty does, show me the splits that Josh Harrison has, lefty or righty. Like you can't. And then you tell me who's the better defender, Josh Harrison or Jake Cave in the outfield. It's not a question. It's Jake Cave. So if I got a guy that's probably a better hitter and 1,000% a better defender, why is this a question just because he stands on one side of the batter's box and holds it with his right hand? I don't get that. And I think, and again, I know Rob loves his platoons. He never likes starting anybody more than 2 days in a row. He got to platoon everybody. But Pache has shown to be an elite defender. He robbed a double the other day in the gap by making a diving catch. He's constantly tracking balls down. He's getting the ball. Basically, if you watch Kyle Schwarber play outfield and then watch Pache play outfield, you're like, this isn't the same sport. There's no way this is the same sport. So, Jake, to kind of like jump to your point earlier that you were talking about potential lineup, I want to see any lineup where I have Schwarber at DH and he doesn't have to play in the field and figure the rest out.
Also, would you love to know, with more at-bats versus lefties than righties, Josh Harrison has a 196 average versus lefties and a 235 average versus righties. So for what we bring him in to do, he is worse at doing that.
Again.
I mean, let's not act like 235 against righties is all that.
No,
all that
it's not. But it still is a reverse split.
213 overall batting average. He has 46 at bats lefties, 34 righties, 9 hits versus lefties, 8 hits versus righties. Pathetic. Just pathetic. And like when he has a 2-hit game and we're like, hey, like that's incredible. That should tell you right there that he's not very good. If you're getting that over the top excited about a multi-hit game.
Yeah, the bar's set in hell. For him.
So just get him off the team, get him out of here. He was something back in the day. That's great. I mean, let's be honest. He's still better than Odubel Herrera. So
yes,
there is that. But that again, the bar's set in hell with Odubel Herrera.
Right.
No, I would love to touch on lineups. I want to go right back into that. And this is going to be a line, your perfect lineup for when Bryce Harper is back in the field, whatever position that may be. So I can go first. This isn't a line. I shouldn't say lineup because it's not the order. I'm just going to go positions and where I want people. At catcher, JT. First base, let's assume it's going to be Harper because I doubt he's going to go right to right field. But it looks like he's getting closer and closer every time you see the video of him. He's throwing some heaters from about first to second base distance, like that 60 feet range or 90 feet range. He's throwing some real heaters. Second base, obviously, Bryson Stott. Shortstop, Trey Turner. Third base, my boy, Alec Boehm. Right field, big Castellanos guy. Center field, Marsh. Left field, Kristen Pache. DH, Kyle Schwarber. If you hit anything to right center to left field, it will be caught.
I mean, listen, this segment might be very short because you just took every single last word out of my mouth, especially over the last couple of days of seeing Pache in the field. I've had it with Schwarber out there. Yeah. As long as Harper can field whatsoever, Schwarber needs to be DHing. I am so sick and tired of laughing and giggling at the Flintstone vitamin guy, just like pitter-pattering out in the outfield.
I mean, how is it possible to, him running. I don't know if you can really call it that. I loved the video of him getting the triple set to the Pirates of the Caribbean music. Loved that. So, but how is it possible in a run that you run flat-footed? How is it possible?
I don't know.
He sprints flat-footed. Flat-footed. That's tough for Bells Palsy people. I'll tell you what.
Flat-footed, ladies and gentlemen. For those that didn't understand at home.
For those that didn't understand the marble mouth.
I think that's the perfect lineup. The only thing that I would maybe tinker is switch Pache in March, just because I feel like Pache maybe covers more ground and takes better angles. Not that I doubt Marsh, but I just think Pache is probably faster and a better athlete.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I do think Marsh is a very good plus glove. Not a plus arm, but I think he's a very good plus glove. I mean, you've seen him that one play a week ago, or we're right into that terrible part of the alley at Citizens Bank Park. I mean, he went full sprint right on contact and made it there full extension to rob what could have been a triple if he missed it, because it would have bounced and gone the exact opposite direction as momentum was taking him. And he robbed it and at a crucial point of the game.
Yeah, I
think
he's done that multiple times. So I think he's a plus club, but I'm fine with him being in left. I don't care. Especially if that means he has a shorter throw.
Yeah, either way, I think that probably does make sense then. Since he's going to have a shorter throw being in left, maybe you put Marsh there. But either like I said, either way,
especially with Stott and Trey on the inner infield, that takes away those bloopers a lot of the time. I mean, these guys are both
right. They're covering ground.
They're covering big ground, and they're both plus gloves. I mean, you've seen them both make a number of great plays. You see a couple Trey Turner errors here or there, but at the end of the day, I'm still fully rooting for the guy. We'll talk plenty of shit on him. He's having a somewhat better June, worse series against the Athletics.
I mean, there's not a single player on this ball club that I'm actively rooting against.
No.
There's certain people that I have a bit more vitriol when I see them that they're in the starting lineup or they're coming up to the plate.
Yeah, I'm more of like, I would much rather have Stott out there than Harrison. Yes. I would love for Harrison to go 4 for 4 tonight.
Of course.
But I'd much rather have Stott out there. And why do we keep resting our daycare? It's not like Stott's a 33, 35-year-old veteran. This is a guy that is going to be the cornerstone of your inside infield.
I mean, speaking of 35-year-old veterans, I'll take it first. What if we take a crack at Goldschmidt?
Do it. I have nothing against that. And look,
it's more so what would we give up?
It would have to be one of our stud pitchers, and you can't be Painter. You can't.
So it's Abel.
It's Abel. It's Abel and more. It's going to be more.
Right.
It'll be Abel and more. But Abel will be the centerpiece of that.
I don't care. Like I don't care what.
We just talked about this 2 episodes ago. We just talked about this 2 episodes with Sicto Sanchez, with Spencer Strider, with
Spencer Howard.
Spencer Howard, excuse me. With Spencer Howard, I would love to.
If we trade the Spencer Strider,
that would not be the same conversation.
No. Spencer Howard. You can name a number of other guys.
You can't name a number of other guys.
No, because that
pan out to be shit.
No, that's what I'm saying. Guys that we thought, we think McAbel is going to be something, but he's also. Like, what's holding him up? He's 23, almost 24 years old. Like, if you're going to be something, come up and be something.
I just like his name, really.
Yeah.
It's a good baseball name.
It is a good baseball name.
Yeah.
Mick.
Yeah.
Now on pitching, right-handed pitcher, Mick Abel. I can do Mick Abel pretty good.
I feel like we've been hearing about him and Griff McGarry for forever now. Like,
Griff McGarry's been having a rough month.
Another excellent baseball name, but I mean, do I really expect him to be a 10th of a Paul Goldschmidt? I mean, even at this stage in his career, I mean, we have Harper signed until he's at 38.
Yeah.
We have Trey Turner signed until he's 39 or 40.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We have 3 more seasons after this year, both Schwarber and Castellanos.
Right. This guy's clearly got plenty left in the tank. I mean, his numbers this year are at least as good as what everybody else is on this ball club.
And can we just squash the narrative that you can get either Paul Goldschmidt or a end of the rotation pitcher? No, you can get both.
People can't comprehend that.
Like,
guys.
you really can.
Brain.
Like, I don't know, and we'll have Ben Silver back on for this, or he can refer over at the Good Fight, one of their more minor league reporters. But I see all the time the Good Fight posting like some pretty good stats from some of our young players. Like, we have a lot of bats. We don't have many pitchers, not many arms. We have a lot of bats in the minors that somebody's got to be interested in. And Pair a couple of them up there. If we have catchers, we are log jammed at catcher. We just traded Logan Harvey. What happened to what's his name? Marshawn? He's still a pretty highly touted catching prospect. Send him somewhere. We have no room for him.
Send Derek Hall somewhere.
Also, what was that tweet? I read it and I still don't understand it.
So they called him up, but they put him on the 60-day IL, I guess, still, or something.
They said they reinstated him.
They had to make room on the 40-man roster, but they took him off of the 60-day IL and then optioned him to AAA. There were levels to it. I don't know. He's not in the bigs. He's in AAA right
I
now.
don't get it.
And I didn't know that.
But it said we recalled him.
I didn't know that until I had to talk with like my coworkers were the ones correcting me because I was like, how many first basemen does this club need? But he was in AAA still. We have 17 first basemen.
He's starting to get it back. That's great. I'm going to hope that he plays incredibly well.
Yeah, right.
But right now, Cody Clemens is your first baseman. He's a very
Derek
plus
Hall's
glove.
Your trade bait.
Oh, yeah. Do it. Hall, Marshawn, Mick Abel, and throw in another guy and get me a 5 ERA starter and Paul Goldschmidt.
Done.
And Jake, to your lineup that you talked about, like
throwing Josh Harrison and Edmundo Sosa.
We would need to send more on top of Josh Harrison.
That would be like the Jared Goff trade. You get Jared Goff and 2 firsts, and we'll get Matt Stafford. But in this case, like
none of us are really like a GM, but we just talk about this, because we've seen what the Phillies can be good at doing.
Pirate.
If I'm thinking to myself. And Jake, I love your ultimate lineup. I think we all agree. All 3 of us are in unison with that. Like, boom, that's perfect. If you want to go defensive late in the game and you're like, shit, we need to protect this 1-run, 2-run lead, you take Harper out of first and you put Clemens because Clemens shown to be a great defensive first baseman.
Mm-hmm.
You can even take Bohm out at third and put Sosa there because Sosa may not be good at the bat, but
Sosa's a bitch.
He may not be good at the plate, but he's a plus defender. And then how about this move? How about this for a move? You call up Jake Cave and send down Dylan Covey, and then you could replace Castellanos, who's been pretty good defensively, but now you have Cave.
Replace the Gold Glove right fielder, but
you have Marsh and Pache in your outfield. I love that.
What information does Dylan Covey have on Rob Thompson? Did he walk in on Rob Thompson cheating on his wife? Like what do you mean? There's been so many moves, there's been so many options, so many people going up and down, and Dylan Covey stays off of all of this.
Yeah, I don't get it. What
makes him a permanent stay in this lineup?
Here's what I would love. There's be some kind of stretch, and I'll look at the schedule and I'll say this is when I want him to do this. We agree, like something's up with Sir Anthony. Like he's great. Now give him 10-day IL. Put him on a Phantom IL. Bring up whatever reliever you want, but somebody that you say, hey, you know what? We do see this guy projecting out long term to be a relief pitcher in the majors. Bring him up for that stint. Let him prove in those 10 days. Hey, when Sir Anthony comes back, I've got Covey's spot. Like Covey will still be there while Sir Anthony's on the IL. But then once after that 10-day IL stint, Sir Anthony's back and you say, hey, this guy took your job. That's what I want to see. Bring up a guy that you project to be a major league reliever and give him those opportunities to take Covey's spot.
That's what we did with Bailey Falter all last year. He was up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Like a million times. But
send Covey off on a spaceship.
But my thing is, like, when you think about holding on to guys, you think about holding on to them because you're like, damn, we can't lose them. I can't let somebody else in. If you released Josh Harrison and Dylan Covey today, would anyone else pick up? Like, I can't think of a team that would be like, yeah, I got to get rid of this guy on my team to make room for them.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening.
I mean, that's how we got Dylan Covey in the first place.
Yeah, and nobody wanted him.
He was just kind of sitting there waiting for us. So
wasn't he not in any level of baseball for like a month and a half when we picked him up?
Yeah, I think so. Something like
that. Or
that.
was that the first baseman we brought up for like a day? Brent something. Remember that guy we brought up?
Did I miss that day? I don't.
It was up for like a couple of weeks, and I'm pretty sure it was either him or Covey or both that he was like,
it was a Dylan.
No, that's Dylan Covey.
No, I know it's Dylan Covey. I thought his name was Dylan too.
It might have been Dylan Brooks or something.
Devin something.
Devin Allen.
I know you're talking about
Britton Covey.
Mm-hmm.
Right-handed bat. He hit a couple home runs actually.
Yeah, he had one game where he had a multi-home run game. but like we picked him up and he wasn't playing in any level of baseball for like a month.
Mm-mm.
And we were like, hey, you want to play major league ball,
This
son?
is bad. This is bad podcasting, but I am totally blanking on this guy.
Oh, we'll look it up.
I am too.
Well, I mean, that's how little he was and how little he's gone because he's
Just
already
a
gone.
flash in the
Do you think
pan.
we can introduce Trevor Bauer to Dylan Covey? Like, hey, man, this guy's great. You should go to Tokyo.
Yes.
That'd be great.
I'll tell you what, man. We got a huge series with the Braves coming up.
Yeah.
By the time you guys are listening to this podcast, we'll be playing the Braves the
Huge.
same day. Spencer Strider's on the mound.
We hit him well.
I mean, I gotta see Clemens at first. I gotta see both.
Go ahead.
I gotta see the best lineup in. I don't understand. I have to see the best lineup in.
No,
But are we going to?
This time tomorrow, I need to see our 9 best players out on the field. No, we're not going to.
No, because it's a regular season game and we're just going to mix match. We're just going to, play a mismatch every single one of these 162 games until we hopefully hop, skip, jump into that third wild card spot if we're lucky.
It's pretty.
That's just, I can't stand that with Rob. I just really can't. Like, I don't understand why you don't. It's not like you and people talking to me the other day. They were like, anything can happen in baseball. Being so negative. Look, the Braves lost 2 or 3 to the Athletics. I'm like, yeah, the Braves did lose 2 or 3 to the Athletics, but guess what? The Braves have the best record in the National League. When you have the best record in the National League, you get the benefit of the doubt to slip up here and there. But when you're third in the division, even in a wild card spot at the season ended today, you don't get the luxury of playing around with lineups and losing games you shouldn't lose.
No.
The Braves can do that. The Tampa Bay Rays can do that. Teams that have the best records in their conference can play around like that. We cannot.
Great point. Great point. Any other Phillies thoughts before we touch on a little Eagles?
That's all I got.
Big series, man. Come on, got to bring it.
Yeah.
Huge series. I mean, and then getting the Mets right after that. Massive opportunity for us to make up some big ground. And I believe if we somehow, are they both 3-game series or is one of them a 4-game? I think they're both 3-game series. If we go 5 and 6 in those 6 games, I don't care who we have the loss or anything. We've got to have the conversation at that point. Are the Phillies going to be a contender for the NL East come the end of the season? Yeah, at that point, you'll have to make that.
They're both 3.
Both 3. Okay, if we could somehow go 5 or 6, you have to then start talking about, is there a realistic opportunity for the Phillies to take the NL East?
God, that is such a...
And all 6 bank. All 6 are at home.
Like, I need Bedlam at the bank.
I mean, that's a pretty tall order, taking 5 or 6.
Yeah, we'll be at one of them. Nice.
We just won 6 or 7 on a road trip, so that's pretty impressive.
Look, I think we can do it. I really do. So we just have to go out there and do it. Before the Eagles, Sixers, all reports are saying that it looks like Harden is going to stay. Like, I don't care. Like, Joey, you have the perfect tweet. You just said K. Like, okay, like nothing's going to change. Like I've said it and I'm really like, and I'll say it again. Love Joel Embiid. Great guy. Hilarious. Like incredible basketball player. Talked to my buddy, Danny, who I was down at the beach with the other weekend and all. Neither of us just think he is a player that can win a championship. Like he's a tremendous basketball player, but he's not somebody that's going to win you a championship. And so I've kind of been like, hey, love the guy. Thank you so much for what you've done. I would rather the Sixers try and get a haul for him and just, I don't care. Like if we have to blow it up, because it's just like, this is obviously you're in the worst place to be. You're the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA. You get maybe to the second round of the playoffs and you always lose. And all you're doing is sitting there with no draft picks because you traded them all to get to that point where you can make it to the second round of the playoffs. And even if you do have a draft pick, it's a terrible one and you're doing nothing with it. So like we're just getting older and older. We're keeping older and older players. PJ Tucker, James Harden, Joel Embiid's getting another year older. And then we have Tyrese Maxey. We have Jaden Springer. Like, cool. Like nothing's going to change. I would much rather just see some kind of blow up. But Josh Harris is obviously just a businessman. He's buying franchises left and right. Joel Embiid will almost always sell at a stadium, so you will never see him traded. It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
Business, financially, you may lose some ticket sales. It would not make sense.
I mean, every single one of these rumors, these trade rumors, these free agency rumors, I mean, it just all feels like drama. For the sake of drama, like there's no bearing to any of it.
Yeah,
I am so over it already. I couldn't care less about a single aspect.
See, Ben Simmons is in the gym now.
Jacked up, photoshopping pics. Hell yeah.
Annual. It's just the annual evergreen tweet.
I'm so numb to the Sixers news, man.
Yeah.
Like, I do think that
you
Nick
can't even get
Nurse.
excited about it. I mean, Nick Nurse is cool.
I think he's an upgrade over Doc. But what then makes me think back is, as much as I've criticized Doc, he wasn't the reason we lost in the playoffs.
No, Joel Embiid was.
No,
like,
he was
yeah,
finally
honest.
coaching fine. It felt
let's
like.
be honest. Joel Embiid was the reason they lost.
Yeah, he got bullied by Horford
Yeah.
in 2 of those games when he could have taken over. It was just depressing. And look, if we re-sign Harden, I'll be like, cool, because we were literally 20 seconds away from making it to the Eastern Conference Championship, and I think we could beat a team like the Heat.
Yeah.
Match up really well with the Heat, not with the Celtics.
I don't think we could have beaten the Nuggets.
No, I don't think we could have beaten the Nuggets either. But
I mean, let's all say, like, Jokic is. We were all wrong. Like, Jokic,
I'm a Jokic apologist.
He's
Again,
a far
like
superior player. Like, it's not that close. Like, he is a superior player to Joel Embiid.
And I think we all knew he was a good player. I just think we were just all Team Joe. You know what I'm saying? We were all Team Embiid. And then so we kind of laughed at some of the advanced metrics. But then, like, when the Sixers are out of it and you have nothing else to watch but the finals, and you're like, this guy is fucking good. Like,
right.
He's really, really good.
When it mattered, he was shutting it down. And we had just finished watching Embiid totally not handle his business the series before.
So, Jake, you said the Sixers were like the Cowboys. I know we talk about that all the time because it's like the second round exits, the overhype every year. And I agree. That's what they're like. Do you guys ever have like a friend that always bitches and cries about their ex, or she cheated again, or like, oh, she's out with a friend, like, and you're just like, yeah, man, that's crazy. Can't believe that happened again. Yeah, like, oh wow, like I can't believe it. Like, that's how I am with the Sixers. Like, I'm just, yeah, okay, you re-signed Harvey, yeah. Oh, you got Nick Nurse, great, yeah. Oh, you're linked to this free agent, cool. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Like, how do you expect me to have any sort of excitement, empathy, sympathy for anything? I mean, I'm not going to get excited until I see you make it past the second round.
I mean,
if you go 72-0,
it's been
doesn't matter.
It's been damn near impossible to get excited since the beginning of the process, if we're being totally honest. I mean, it's just every single year they were in it and picking what felt like the wrong pick that just never panned out. And you knew that the limit, the ceiling was going to be only as good as these picks. So what you got was one stud in Joel Embiid, and that's quite frankly not nearly enough to win a championship. So you knew it was a foregone conclusion every single year, and we're bearing the fruits of this. Right. So it's been very hard to get terribly excited for it throughout the season. There's a reason we don't talk that much Sixers on the podcast, because we know it's only a matter of time. This team just isn't as good as it needs to be.
No, I mean,
they're the boy who cried. They're the boy who cried wolf. Like, we've seen this over and over. We get it. Like, second round. Boy who cried wolf. Like, oh, I get it. Like, no, until you make it out of that second round, until you show us something. I don't care who you trade for, who you sign. Like, great, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right there with you.
You know what I do care about?
What's that? The feeling of the left side of your face.
I mean, yes, Eagles. Yes, the feeling of the left side of my face is true. I do care about that, and I miss it greatly. I have full feeling. I can feel all this. It's just paralyzed. I can't move it.
If I was your girlfriend, I would rub you to sleep on that side of your face. I'd be like, honey, you're going to get rubbing until you feel it. I promise.
I can feel it. I can feel it. I just can't move it. We'll get there eventually, or we won't.
All right, let's talk some birds.
Let's go birds. Training camp just around the corner. Your boy's going to be there. Also, your boy had his first job at the link this past week, working the Stevie Nicks Billy Joel concert for the owner suite, Jeffrey Lurie and Mrs. Lurie, Mama Lurie, if you will. You're in good hands. I got you covered. Don't worry. I'll keep working that owner suite. Anything happens, I got you.
How was she?
They changed it up this year. We sit in our own suite, not in the owner suite, and then we respond if they need us. So don't know. I'm sure
Oh.
she was lovely.
So you just get to hang out and watch the
I just
Billy
sat in
Joel
a suite.
concert.
I sat in a nice suite and watched a Stevie Nicks and Billy Joel concert, making really good money.
How was Stevie
on it.
Nicks live?
She was good.
I didn't know she was alive. I
I'm
thought
with
she
you.
was dead.
I'm with you. No, it was good. Good show. A lot of songs. I was like, wait a minute, that's a Stevie Nicks song.
Right. I get that.
And then even some Billy Joel songs. So I was like, wait a minute.
I know that song.
I mean, I
This guy's all
respect
right.
Billy Joel, but I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna work
Of
the Billy
course.
Joel concert.
Of course.
They asked me if I could work, and I was like, maybe. And they're like, you'd be working the owner suite, and I was like, all right.
How was the
I'll do it.
food? Did you get to eat a bit?
Yeah. Food was good. Food was good. Made friends with the people in the suite next door. Somebody was having a birthday party, went over and took their cake. Yeah, they were nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. But yeah, training camp's coming up. We will be at, or I will be at, I'll try to get you there. We will be at as many training camp sessions as possible, getting you that inside scoop. I think it'll be a really great opportunity for us to get some real good insight on the birds. And I would really recommend you start following us now and having all of your Eagles friends follow us now, because a lot of these training camps aren't open to the press. Like a lot of these early practices aren't open to, or at least they're not fully open to the press. And so we will be there even on non-press days. And if they fire me for reporting on stuff, then I get fired.
You should sneak like a body cam in there.
Oh, I am.
Like an action cam.
Yep. I got a GoPro.
Hell
They
yeah.
can't zoom though.
Now you have to
No
put like a
zooms on the
zoom
GoPro.
lens on it, and then it's low quality.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. I'll bring the Lumix.
Yeah.
This is
Strap
for-
that to your chest.
Yeah, this is for
It's for my disability.
my face. It's for my face. I'm bubbling. I got bubbles to the side of my mouth. Oh boy. But no,
Can you
it's gonna be
imagine trying to get CPR from this guy.
oh man.
I'm up.
Sound like an old 1930s Ford Model A chugging along down the street.
Jake, what do we have on the Eagles?
Oh boy. Zach McPherson is a great follow on Twitter. Would love for him to be a great follower of opposing wideouts.
You mean the ultra right-wing conspiracy theorist, Zach McPherson?
Damn right. He puts it out there, man. And he don't care. He said, why are you still wearing a mask? I said, that's a good question, Zach. You're going to delete that tweet in 5 minutes because you're going to get killed.
You play in Philadelphia.
And he did delete that tweet shortly after. But I
didn't even know he had a Twitter.
Shout out Zach for tweeting out shit like, why are you in your car by yourself with a mask? Hashtag idiot. And I was like, yeah. Tell him, Zach. And then he said some rapper that I don't know is better than some rapper that I don't know. And Darius Slay was like, boy, you crazy. I was like, yeah. I don't know. I mean, what do you have to talk about the Eagles? Jordan Mailata came on with Darius Rucker the other night.
What a combo.
Yeah. Sounded really good.
Okay. My question is just based off the first couple months of the baseball season where we saw a world championship hangover from most of our team. What players do you think are going to have a slow start to this season, be it a drop off in athleticism or just a Super Bowl hangover?
It's a great question. Coach, do you have anybody off the top of your mind while I'm churning the wheels?
Well, for me, it's not really
turn right now.
For me, it's not really a player as it is that my biggest concern would be the turnover in the coaching department. You have a brand new offensive coordinator and a brand new defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
On top of that, you have an entirely new linebacker. You basically last year's linebacking core, and you pretty much have a new safety core as well. So your middle and your very back end are brand new players that have not started. And then you have a brand new system with a brand new coordinator on offense and defense. So I'm concerned about a little bit of rust there and how long that will take to develop. You know, when you had CJ, GJ, and you had Epps back there, they knew what they were doing. I mean, granted, we all like Reed Blankenship, and Terrell Edmonds is an okay player, and we have high hopes for Sidney Brown. But again, he's a third-round rookie, and Blankenship was undrafted and just only did spot duty. we love Nakobe Dean, but we don't know how he's going to be in as an everyday starter. And then
no clue.
I'll be honest with you. If I was on another team's podcast, like the Cowboys or the Giants, and I heard that Christian Ellis and Nicholas Morrow are fighting really hard to see who the next starting linebacker is going to be besides Nakobe Dean, I'd be laughing at that. I'd be like, there's a camp battle between Nicholas Morrow and Christian Ellis for the other starting linebacker spot. I'd be laughing at that. So, again, I hope I'm proven wrong, but things like that are like big question marks for me and in new schemes offensively and defensively.
So everybody.
Yeah, I certainly agree to that. I didn't think I was taking it this deep today because statistically speaking, out of everything you just named, like there's going to be some starters that straight up are not good. Like part of this is going to go bad between the linebacking core, the safeties, right? There are going to be
some that are better than you expected.
Yes, I'm going into camp thinking some of these guys are going to be able to ball, but that third linebacker spot, that second linebacker spot, we are bound to have holes.
But let's also not be blind to the fact that there have been times in late August where Howie makes an addition. Like this is just the team as it sits now.
For sure. So that's why I phrased it. Is there like an experienced veteran that you're expecting some sort of drop off in play quality, or do you think just somebody is just not going to be terribly prepared coming out of camp or coming into camp?
What's interesting is it's Jonathan Gannon's new team that has probably the most intriguing players that we might want. You got Budda Baker, who everybody would love to have, obviously, right, in Philadelphia. Those rumors have been linked for so long. And then I don't know if you saw, but Gannon is moving Isaiah Simmons to defensive back. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
If I'm him, I'm going in the last year of my rookie contract when I'm supposed to get paid next year. If I look absolutely stupid playing defensive back, that ruins my market. That ruins any payday that I could be trying to see.
Come on, play linebacker.
I could not believe the risk that he is taking. As you just said, it's his contract year. If he looks like an idiot, and there is a very good chance that he does, I mean, this could cost this guy so much money.
You know some rookies that look like idiots right now?
Tell me.
J.K. Dobbins trying to come out saying, "Hey, I need a new contract." I'm like, dude, you've played like 38% of the games that you've been possibly able to play and have done well in probably 65-70% of those. But of those 38% of games that you've been able to play, like you're never healthy. You're in a run first offense. No, you're not getting a new contract. And he's like still have 2 more years on his rookie contract.
Maybe he wants 38% of what he should normally be making.
Yeah, you want a new contract? Maybe he's doing a team move, taking a pay cut.
He might want a pay cut.
Maybe.
Guys, I feel like I'm just ripping everybody off. I'm not earning my keep here. I just want to settle this once and for all. Lock me down long term. Very team friendly deal.
Maybe.
I'll tell you what, that would be interesting if we, tested those Arizona waters a little bit.
Oh,
Jake, like you said, Howie has to have his finger on the pulse, because when you're this close, you secured your franchise quarterback. I'm not worried about the offense. I think the offense is going to do what it does regardless. I really do. Now,
do we have a good enough a relationship with the Cardinals? No. Right? Are the Eagles as an organization just pissed off at Arizona as a whole?
No, I don't think they'd make a move with us.
I don't think so.
Or could you say, hey, look, we did you guys a solid by agreeing to this Jonathan Gannon grievance. We did y'all a solid. We could have let the NFL handle that and taken your first rounder. Now, shut up, sit back, and let's do business, because we did you a solid there, all right?
Yeah, no kidding.
We did it real quick right before the draft started so that it wouldn't be like circulating.
People talk about it for 5 minutes, and then it's draft.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the Eagles and Cardinals are swapping, blah, blah, blah. And with the first pick. Like, I feel like the Eagles really did them a solid in that regard, if you think about it, because as Eagles fans,
they never dimed him out. They never talked badly about him publicly. They never.
Not once. When in the back of your mind, Gannon, you weren't even there at the Super Bowl. Typically, like your head was
mentally
in another place.
Out.
You weren't even thinking. The players, multiple players have called you out. that
Giddy in the
why
locker
didn't you
room.
adjust?
Giddy in the
Yeah.
locker room following the loss.
So think about it. Arizona may be like, you let us off the hook, Philly. You could have taken this to the league office where the punishment might have been a little bit bigger. So, yeah, let's talk. You never know. Stranger things have happened.
I'd love it. Yeah, I mean, we're still a little bit early to really break down the birds all that much. Is there any, I mean, obviously Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, jump off the screen right there. But other than the day one guys, what's one of the day two, day three guys that you're most excited to see?
I mean, you've already touched on Sidney Brown a little bit, but again, I go back to the last episode when we were talking about camp battles, and I thought one of these cornerbacks that were supposed to go high between Eli Ricks and I'm going to blank on the other kid's name.
Keely Ringo.
Yes, Keely Ringo. Like one of these guys can probably ball.
Yeah.
One of these guys is going to be, hopefully both of them step into that next stage of this backfield. But I'm really excited.
Josiah Scott's gone.
Right. I'm really excited to watch them play and see how they go up against pro level talent.
Yeah. No, it'll be great. You saw guys that at one point in their college careers were both projected as day one, day two guys that we were able to get day three and undrafted. So at some point they showed somebody something to make them think. And you hear things about like very stiff hips. They don't, transition very well. We'll see. That the coaching does a lot of things.
Right. They're going to be under a couple of all pro level corners.
Like there are things you can't teach, size and speed. Hips, I feel like you can develop that. Like you can develop being a more fluid corner. Size and speed help, and you can't teach that, but you can teach better positioning, better reading of plays, not biting on it. Like you can develop that. And we have so many lines in the water. We're going to get a fish on one of them.
Exactly.
I mean, we have one of the largest, youngest cornerback rooms in the NFL. And I want to touch on real quick, Brian Baldy, fan of the show, working on getting him on, but he's worn our merch a number of times, posted pictures of it on his socials and everything. He said something that left me really scratching my head. Tell me if you guys heard about this. He was dogging James Bradbury the other day. Yeah, he was dogging him, mostly based on his Super Bowl performance, which I don't think is fair because no cornerback did well in the Super Bowl at all. The field was terrible, and neither team really did very well in pass coverage. But he was saying how he just feels like he's very overrated, and that's a position that they may need to look to move on from sooner than later. And I mean, the guy was a second-team All-Pro. He's one of the fourth best corners as voted on by voters. And I thought he damn well earned that spot. Like I thought he was a lock in every game minus the Super Bowl. But again, Darius Slay was nowhere to be found in the Super Bowl. Avonte Maddox was nowhere to be found in the Super Bowl. Like it wasn't just him. And so it kind of caught me out of left field because this is a guy that's usually like Mr. I will talk up everybody.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. That would be pretty surprising to me. I mean, I don't know if Bradbury was the second team all pro that he was, billed to be, but he was awful damn good.
Yeah,
he was not a liability. He was
far
from a liability.
Very good.
Right. So and you said it, Baldy's normally a guy that only makes comes out to make a statement if it's overwhelmingly positive. Like he usually is talking.
It wasn't a statement he made. He was on a podcast. I forget which one. And they were talking about the Eagle secondary. And so it wasn't like a Baldy breakdown where he's like, let me look at this guy.
Because
hit him with the old Samoan flipper when he's talking about Mailata or something. Like this was just on a podcast talking specifically about the Eagle secondary. And he didn't hesitate to be like, who kind of worries me?
No, I'm more concerned with Darius Slay getting a year older.
I am too. I mean, the second half of last season, you kept waiting to see him go on the IR or something because he was just a shell of himself. He went from being great to okay.
Yeah,
not bad, just okay.
But you kept waiting for him to get sent down to AAA for a 15-day stint.
Yeah. Go send him to the Stars for a bit.
Yeah.
Coach, thoughts?
Yeah, I haven't heard that or seen that, so I'd like to maybe kind of sit down and take a look at that.
I didn't see Jacob Media jumping all over it.
Yeah,
well, Jacob Media is on it. I probably won't.
No, they just love negative things about the Eagles.
I think I've successfully blocked every single Jacob Media outlet from my tweet. My Twitter
hardest for me is D Gun. I mean, everybody respects D Gun, and I just can't believe he's associating
Okay,
himself
but
with them.
D-Gun never, like, there's only so many things you can do by yourself in the industry. Everything is in a tandem, everything's in a show, a group,
Yeah,
a
but why them?
trio.
Why them?
Right. But, and that's just a sacrifice. That's collateral damage, right,
Yep.
that we had to make.
Yep. Anything else on the Birds before we wrap it up?
Let's get here soon.
Oh yeah. All right, I got a question to end this episode for both of you on. It's similar to what they were talking about on WFP today. Well, it's actually the same question they had on WFP today. You have one at bat and you absolutely need a home run. Who would you rather have hitting it? Ryan Howard, Kyle Schwarber.
What year, Ryan Howard?
Prime of both of their careers.
I mean, listen, I would rather watch Ryan Howard take that at bat.
If the prime of both of their careers, it's not a question.
Either one. Yeah.
I mean, Ryan Howard hit 50 home runs a year
with
what felt like a decade straight.
58 home runs in his 06 season.
He went from the minor league home run champ to home run derby winner to rookie of the year to National League MVP
the next year,
and then winning a World Series. That's not a question.
The premier home run hitter in all of baseball for most of his stint, certainly for his prime. And I participated in that poll, and I could not believe how close it was.
Yeah, I was shocked.
I could not.
Shocked.
Yeah, it was one of the easier polls for me to answer. It was 65-35.
Yep, shocked.
It has to be a younger generation that are
35% of people are idiots.
Exactly.
And that's not a knock on Schwarber.
I was surprised that the average audience, and I guess because it's Twitter, but I didn't think it would be that young, because you have to think most of those people voting had to have been 25 or younger.
Yeah.
That just weren't present for the prime of Ryan Howard's career.
Pre-injury was on a lock for Hall of Fame track.
Yes.
Lock. And then even the first 2 years, I was looking at his stats today because of it. The first 2 years following it were both 30 and 100 seasons.
Dude, I mean, just the way, like, he stepped up, and Jim Thome, just what a fantastic player. And they were like, get the fuck out of town, dude. You do not have a spot on this ball
on
team.
The big pieces team.
Absolutely not.
That would have been great if the DH was available back then. You could have kept Thome and Howard.
That would have been awesome.
100 home runs between the two of them.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I was shocked to see it was so close.
Do that 35% probably don't know that in the playoffs when we were down to the ninth inning, our last out, and Ryan Howard said to the guys in the dugout, he said, just get me to the plate, boys. Just get me to the plate, boys. He knew if he got a chance to get up to the plate, he was going to end the game. And that is iconic in my mind. Like, instead of talking about it and being about it, we know the Bryce Harper grand slam.
One side of my face.
Yeah. The Bryce Harper grand slam against the Cubs when he was up, was iconic. You have the Harper home run against the Padres, but in the playoffs, looking at your guys and I say, hey, just get me to the plate. On all three, y'all can't get out here. Somebody get on base. Just get me to the plate, and I promise you I got this. That's iconic, man. This shouldn't be a question.
Yeah, love Schwarber, but I mean,
not a knock on Schwarber at all. Just Ryan Howard is a different.
That poll shouldn't be
man.
Very close.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So final thought: Ryan Howard, the man,
the big piece,
the big piece.
No question.
No question.